Thanks so much for your engagement last week. It was really good to hear all your questions, observations. As you can see, this week we've got another special guest. So, James Dean, but do call him Jimmy. I've been told off already. I couldn't resist this thing of saying it's James Dean. So we're going to start off the lecture. We're going to do a little bit of an interview with Jimmy, and he's going to walk us through kind of his journey, which includes lots of ingredients, as kind of discussed last week. So usual trigger warning, same as every week. Some of the topics can be kind of quite sensitive, quite triggering. So usual protocols I mentioned in the first two lectures apply for this week also. So Jimmy's going to kind of tell his story. He's got permission, obviously, to tell it as it is, because it's his words and his story. So we're going to start off, and I'm going to ask Jimmy just about kind of early days, kind of those early kind of teenage type years. And so, Jimmy, what was kind of going on? Describe where were you based, what factors were going on in your life at that point. Paint the picture.
So basically, guys, hello. I'm from Rotherham originally, and I came from, my mum and dad split up at a young age, like 12, 13 years old. And then my mum moved us to Sheffield without no father figure in his life, basically. And then that was this is where my life took its turn for the worst, basically. We got moved to an area in Sheffield called Pittsmore, which is, I don't know if anyone's heard, it's a really, really rough area. And then I was from a broken home. I was wandering the streets. I weren't getting accepted into a school because we'd moved to this new area. It was just difficult, basically. So
how old were you, sorry?
Around 13, 14 at this time. So I ended up just wandering the streets, but no father figure in my life anymore. I was, in my head, free to do what I wanted. And then I got picked up or spotted, basically, by organised crime members, serious organised crime members. Not just, these guys were from Manchester. Even though I was in Sheffield, these had come across county lines, basically, to come to Sheffield to take over that area. So that's what happened. And then very, very quickly, I was dragged into a world that I didn't know what was like, scary, treacherous world of crime, violence, drugs, robberies. I've seen murders. I've seen people tortured. You name it, I've seen it. And I've been sent all over the country, dropping guns, kilos of this, kilos of that. Just drugs. Just constant. Yeah.
And just backtrack for me to paint the picture. So when you say met these people from Manchester, like, talk us through the grooming process.
Yeah.
How did you meet? How did they groom you? What did they tell you to do? What was the incentives? Why were you open to that?
This is how it started. We'd moved to the area. I weren't a little angel, so to speak, already. So I was getting noticed by people. And this is exactly what I say to everyone, how it started. The day that life started for me. We were just sat out, we lived in Masonettes. We were sat outside Furers. This big black guy pulls up from Manchester. I didn't know at the time he was from Manchester, but we'd seen him a lot. He'd been on the estate a lot. And he come out and said, "Oh, look after my car for me, lads, please, for a couple of minutes." Come back, gave us like £20 each. For nothing. Like, his car didn't need looking after, did it? It was just to say, there you go, I've got something for you. We were little kids, we didn't have no money, we come from a poor home, I had nothing, we were with nothing. So £20 to me then was a lot of money. And we're going back 20 odd years ago as well, though I'm nearly 40, by the way. So we are going back a while. But yeah, that's how it started. And very, very quickly, you then get, "Oh, come with me to just drop this off." You get shown the life. Oh, this is a nice car, look at this car. So you start to kind of want that life. It becomes your goal in life to want to be like that person, which is, at the time, you think, yeah, this is the way. Not until I know what I know now. I was being groomed as a child into a criminal organisation, a serious criminal organisation. But you don't know that at the time, and it's still happening now to this day, every single day. And it's getting brushed under the carpet quite a lot. There's a lot going off, we've said, with the child sexual exploitation and stuff like that. But what about the child criminal grooming gangs who are grooming children into committing crime, crossing county lines with drugs, guns? It's happening every single day still. And why aren't these people getting nipped in the bud at the top and giving them sentences like they give they should be put on a register. Like I said to you, that's my opinion. They should, if they get caught grooming a child into crime, that they should go on that same sex offenders register, as it's the same. So
initial kind of offers of money, small easy tasks, kind of.
Yeah, it would just basically drop this, go and check this. You start off. It starts off very small. Just drop. It's a parcel of drugs. You don't know at the very beginning. You don't know what's in these parcels. You don't get to check. You don't get to look. It's just check that, drop that. But then it starts off. You're on your estate. You're running around on bikes and dropping things off. And it was not long after, within 6 months of that first give, that £20, I was getting sent to London. Drive, because I was quite tall. I could pull it off. I could drive. I was about 15, 16. Driving to London, to really rough areas in London on my own, to pick guns up and kilos of this and kilos of that. So it was very quickly, and Manchester, we did a lot, Manchester, Birmingham, everywhere, but it was nationwide. We was busy. We got put to work, basically, properly put to work.
And different amounts of money for different types of jobs?
Yeah, but not really, no, because when you're getting put in it like that, you just give what they give you. It's not about, you do get offered, we'll look after you, but it's not, there's no money in it at the beginning for kids. You're just getting told what to do and say, there you go, you can have this, or you might get £100 to buy a new tracksuit, or it's more just it's blagging you, basically. Because don't forget, you're a child who's got nothing anyway. Yeah. So £100 tracksuit to you is, you think you're the man.
And that's why you never said no.
Well, that is definitely why I never said no, because what kid wouldn't? Yeah. Well, at that age where you're poor, yeah. We were genuinely poor family. Mm-hmm. We had nothing. So it was like, £20, for what? We didn't look after his car. He parked it like his car's tax tested, insured. He could have just parked it, left it. It was just a reason to get us on the hook, basically. And like I said, things very, very rapidly spiraled out of control in my life. And I've done which is a bit further down the story, the prison for it, the consequences of it, you lose people, your family, there's a massive, massive consequences from living that life, what I've lived. And that's why we're at this point today, guys, where I'm trying to tell my story, because I'm passionate about it and I believe it needs to be told.
And Jimmy runs amazing kind of work in Rotherham, which we're going to move to towards the end of the story. So, but how did you get promoted then? So you start off with kind of 6 months of kind of like smaller runs. How did you get promoted in that? There's a hierarchy, isn't there?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Describe the hierarchy.
There's always an hierarchy. Like I said, you've got your top dogs who you don't see at the beginning. The top dog does not get involved. He won't touch a drug. He'll just tell them guys what to do. He'll not touch a single drug. He won't have, his job is to say, don't fetch that near me. But he's giving orders, but he wants as little to do with it as possible. He will not go near it. Then you've got your street boss kind of thing, the next one down the line, who's getting it off him, then he's in charge of all the other little bosses everyone's got a little gang, basically. Everyone sets up a line. They're called, the drug line. They'll all set up a line, and he's got 5 workers running that line, and the line never stops 24/7. We got put in a record shop that didn't sell a single record. It had a few fake ones on wall, and it didn't even have a shop door. It had the council shutters that you put on empty flats. That's how you come in. They had to come knock on the door, let them in, serve them, send them straight out. 24/7 that shop was open. 14, 15, I was running that shop with a couple of other lads, just running it, and we wasn't allowed to leave it. It weren't by choice. It kind of wasn't, but we weren't allowed to leave. We had to put in the shift for it, basically, and it was for pennies.
What would have happened if you didn't?
It would have been, because we'd already got into this tight knit world. It wouldn't have been that easy to walk out of it then, because you know too much, and we live. It's just a close knit area. Everybody knows each other, so it wouldn't have been, I don't want to do it no more. There's a good story to how I got out of that life, but that's a bit further down the line. From them people, I had to get away from them. Do you know what I mean? But that's a bit further on in the story. So, like I said, it's very hard to get away from these people once they've got you. You owe them, or they'll make some drugs go missing. You now owe for these drugs, so you're in debt now. You've got to work for nothing anyway. You might get a bit of money, but that's your fault that drugs went missing. You've got to work now. You've got to pay this, otherwise we're going to smash your mum's house. We're going to do this. Threats of violence constantly. They torture people in front of you. As a youngster, they'll get their drug rival